Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of Your Brain. Your Brain was created with the purpose to make you think outside of the box. No comments will be deleted, no reposts will be flagged as copyright, and no edits will be infringement. Why do I say these things at the start of each video? It's because I want people to take this video, analyze it, and judge it. I don't want it to just be here and do nothing, to just be a mean for an opinion. No, I want people to actually use my content for their own purposes if they want to. And if they don't want to, it's fine also. But I really do think that each piece of content that should be in YouTube and that is outside in the internet should be free to use for others, of course. In monetization purposes, it is different for everybody, but I don't care actually if you monetize my videos and if you make money from them, because what I'm trying to do here is spread a message, and this message is that I want to build people to start thinking outside of the box. I want to get change in the world. I want people to stop being sheeps and to maybe become wolves. Will be a beautiful and better world in that way. That's what I think personally. So today is my first day recording in a public place that is not a park, that is a city that has a lot of people in it walking. The reason I didn't do it before is because I was afraid of judgment. But like many people know, fear sometimes comes from ignorance. Maybe you don't know how things work, you don't know how they will go, and you fear them. So I said, let's just expose ourselves to it and see how it goes. And when I started to analyze this fear, I say, well, Bryan, you have fear of judgment. But why do you have fear of judgment? Why don't you want to be judged? What is judgment? Should judging people be illegal? Should it be legal or illegal? I started to brainstorm a lot more about this idea. And before I get into the subject, like I always say, I want you to start using your brain. And this is don't mean an insult, but I want you to start looking for your own conclusions instead of waiting for me to get to the topic and talk about it, for you to start thinking about it. Start thinking now. Do you think that judging other people should be illegal? Do you think that it should be legal? What do you think about it? As always, I'm smoking a cigar, halfway through actually, because I had problems recording before, but it doesn't matter. I took little something to drink also. This is some Brancamenta. You can Google it if you don't know what it is. Judging other people, judging things, judging everything, right? We are constantly judging our surroundings, constantly judging other people we see, constantly judging ourselves. Why do we do this? The more I talked about this, the more I had to go to our past, and I really do think that before we had the level of imagination and memory that we have right now, when we were instinctual beings that could not resonate outside of their instinct, I really do think that having the ability to judge something and to judge correctly was the difference between life and death. Because when we were in the jungle, if you saw something move, you had to judge quickly. Is it the friend or is it the foe? What's going on right now? Is this thing going to help me or is this thing going to hurt me? It can be a plant, an animal, whatever it is. But you had to judge, and you had to judge quickly, because that could be the difference between life and death, right? So in the old times, having the right ability, and even now having the ability to judge correctly, is really, really important for your survival and for your acceptance in society, right? So if we start from this idea, then judgment is something that is necessary, and that will always be necessary for any life form. Well, not every life form, but for most of the life form that exists. Having the ability to judge correctly can be the difference between dying or staying alive. So in today's society, we have the problem that people are really, really sensible, right? So you cannot judge anybody, or you can judge them in your mind, but the moment you express it, the moment you open up about it, you might hurt someone's feelings, and things might turn up on you, even in a legal way. So I wanted to understand, why does this happen? Should judging others really be illegal? And then I thought, yes, Bryan, because you have defamation, right? Defamation is when one person has a judgment on another person and starts that might be false, might be true, who knows, and start to spread that judgment to a lot of people, and the image of that person changes, right? And it can damage his image in society. And this is true. But defamation, the thing that I find interesting about defamation is that when you convince other people of having an idea about a certain individual, it means that these other people are judging that person in the same way that the person that is spreading this idea is doing it, right? And I ask myself, but then why does these other people try to talk with the person that they are trying to judge and try to understand it better, to see if it is really like this or if it is not like this? And then I started to get more into this type of idea, and I found out that maybe the problem is that in today's society we have so many sheeps, right? We have some wolves that lead the pack, and we have sheeps. Sheeps don't have the ability to think by themselves. Sheeps do what other people tell them to do if it is popular, and they are just trying to fit in. They don't want to feel alone. They don't want to feel like they are different. They want to feel like they are part of a group, which is, in fact, something that is important, right? Because being part of a group in the old times meant survival, but now it doesn't. Now I can be here by myself, alone, being judged by people passing by, and it doesn't mean I will die. It doesn't mean I will go to jail. It doesn't mean anything negative. I'm alone right now, in this moment, here, recording this video, right? And there's no negative outcome that, at least in this moment, is happening to me for doing this alone by myself. And this took me to understanding something that maybe some of you have never thought about, and it is the fact that in today's society, that society itself, not in today's society, society itself has evolved way faster than our biology was able to evolve, right? If we look in history, the last 2,000 years, we have evolved in technology, in the structure of society, in a faster rate than it takes our biology to adapt to the things that are changing, right? We get new inventions, new creations, new type of way of thinking every single day, and our biology has no time to adapt to this. So my belief is that our biology is still behind, and our biology still relates many of the things to life and death, right? So when you're not accepted by the group, our biology still takes it as something that is really, really, really bad, and that might end with you not being able to continue your life. That's why so many people get really, really depressed by being alone, really, really sad. They even destroy themselves. They start to have self-damaging habits because of not having the acceptance of others, right? Because the brain is telling them there is something that is not right because they are not being accepted. Even though that in today's society, we do not need acceptance to keep going forward. Of course, it depends where you live and what are your current situations, right? But for most of us, and I can even say most of us because I don't know the percentage, but at least for me and for the people I know, being alone and being by themselves does not mean that they will die, or that their life will end, or that anything at all changes. They can get to know new people going outside. They can go to the disco one day. They can go to the park. They can go to the library. They can go to many places and meet new people. But we still get the same feeling, the same intense feeling of loneliness once we get rejected by other people. Like I say, even though we will not have the same repercussions that we had in the past, right? Since I came here to Italy, I came here almost 4 years ago. I used to go out a lot with a lot of friends here, but now I'm in this period of time, and I'm moving by my own. I'm doing my own projects. I'm only working. I have 2 jobs currently. I'm only working and I'm moving by myself, right? And I saw that before, when I started this journey, and I started to see my friends less often, that I got this feeling of loneliness. I got this feeling of something is not right. I really wanted to get depressed, right? But I stopped it. I stopped it because I say, you're not going to die because of this. Being alone, there is nothing bad in being alone. Why don't you like being alone? Well, when I'm alone, what do I think about? I think about the fact that I'm not with somebody. I think about the fact that I am alone. And I start to elaborate these ideas, and then I get sad about it, right? So then the problem is here. It means that the problem is the way I think about things. It means that the problem is the way I talk to myself, which means that if I manage to have better talks, it means that I should be able to handle this journey in a better way. And in fact, I have been meditating for the past 4 or 5 years, but I stopped it like a year ago. I stopped meditating for like 6 months. So 6 months ago, I started to meditate again, and I have come to the point that I have a pretty good inner conversation, right? So the way I speak to myself is really positive, and I started to notice that the more time I spend alone, the less I started to feel lonelier, because I didn't feel like if I was in bad company, right? Because the things that I was saying to myself were positive. I was not thinking negatively. I was not focusing on the fact that there's nobody physically surrounding me. I was thinking about other things, my projects, my life, my work, my journey, right? So it means that sometimes we're our worst enemies. And the first thing that we need to fix is ourselves. It's the way we speak to ourselves. When we fix the way we speak to ourselves, we will start to even see other people in a different way. So currently I'm in a position where I go outside and I look at other people, and the judgment I make about other people is a really conscious judgment. It means I do not make a judgment based on appearance. I make a judgment that is really, let's say, elaborated in a way that I try to tell to myself that by watching the person I know nothing about them, and that I will never know nothing until I actually get to know them. And since I started to adopt this way of thinking, so many things have changed inside me. I have had so many friends at my work that come to me and try to talk me bad on other people, and I just do not take them personally. I do not take their opinion personally. I do not even take it as a fact until I can see proofs, or that I can go and genuinely talk to that person and understand if the things that they are saying are real or not. Because you might come to me and you might talk to me about a thing someone did a lot of time ago, but people have the ability to change also. So I should not be judging them based on the past. I should be judging them based on the present, or even take into consideration the fact that in the future they might change. So I say, if this is the way you see things right now, then why do we have laws that tell that judging other people is illegal, that spreading false ideas of other people are illegal, right? Even though they are telling you things about other people and you are not believing them. So they are not damaging the image of anybody. Even if it is defamation, if I don't believe them and you only talk to me about that negative thing of the other person, then it doesn't work. Of course, this takes me back to the fact that there are a lot of chips in today's society. There are a lot of followers. People that have lost the ability to make conclusions by themselves and only believe in the things that other people tell them to believe in. Which I currently don't know if I should judge this idea as good or bad, right? Is it good that we have chips? Is it bad that we have chips? I really don't know. Don't know how to judge this idea yet. But the fact is that defamation is a real thing only because we have chips, only because we have people that think about, that believe other people's ideas without having actual proofs, or if they have proof without actually making sure that the proofs are real. If the proofs are real, then in some cases, like a minuscule amount of cases, then it can be defamation, because I don't think that speaking the truth is actually defamation, unless you're talking about private information about other people. Then in that case it is, because we all have things that should belong to us and should only be ours, right? We have things that we do that we don't really want other people to know. You see that the more I get into talking and analyzing this from different perspectives, the harder it gets to get to a conclusion, because now we have to think about the fact that there are certain things about me that I don't want other people to know. But as I'm a human being, I have the ability to change from one moment to the other. So maybe I tell you something right now and I tell you, yeah, you can tell it to everybody. And then tomorrow I wake up and I decide that it's not that way. And you have no way to prove that I told you sometimes you might, other times you don't, that I told you that you should not tell anybody. And then that you can't tell someone else. If you go and you tell someone else about it, then I might get mad, because now my idea is different, right? So the aspect of I want people to know, I don't want people to know, it's actually weird in itself, because people can change, right? And this change it has so many variables. It can be 1 million, 1 billion, it can be infinite, the amount of times you can change yourself, right? So it is really weird, the fact how we have built this society, how we have built our idea of judgment. I don't think that we have a concrete idea on how it works. And I don't think we will ever have a concrete idea of how it works, because it is too complex. There are too many variables to analyze. Maybe I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, you can tell me in the comments, why do you think I'm wrong, right? But when it comes to the privacy of a person, unless that we make international rules about the privacy of a person, then there is no way to escape the fact of defamation. Because each time you travel, the rules might be different regarding the privacy of a person. So you will need to study the rules of every single country in the world to understand if you are making infringement on the personal image of another person, or if you are doing things in the right way, right? The more we get into this, the more complicated it will get. This video was not supposed to be long, because I don't think we will get to anywhere concrete, but judging other people should not be illegal, because judging, like I said in the beginning, is a tool that has allowed us to get to the place that we are right now. Should talking about bad about somebody with other people be illegal? Depends. If people believe what that person is saying, then in that case you are maybe creating an image of a person that can in fact take other people to making actions that can make infringements in that person's freedom or in that person's state of being. Then I think that there's a probability it should be illegal. But if people do not believe in the things that that person is saying, then that person will most probably be seen as crazy. The only thing I want to say is take your time to judge people based on the things that you know, instead of believing on the things that other people say, right? Because you never know if they are right or if they are wrong. They have proof. Make sure that the proof are 100% true and that they are not lying. And if you do not have proof, take your time. Take your time to know people. Let's stop watching people and judging them by their tattoos, by their skin color, and by many other things, right? This shows a really, really basic problem, and it's that you don't know how to manage one of your senses, which is the sense of sight in this case, or it might be the sense of hearing, or it might be who knows what sense are you judging the other people with. Maybe you don't like their voice, maybe you don't like the way they look, but these are the senses that we have. And the fact that you make negative connotations of persons just because the information that gets to you through these senses is something that you are not particularly, let's say that you don't like it personally, then we have to reevaluate something. Maybe the problem is not the other person. Maybe the problem is me, that I don't know how to manage my senses. And managing our senses is not easy. It's not by no way easy, because we have so many things to think about, and now we have to think about managing our senses in the right way, right? So I want you to think about this for a while. I want you to think about the fact that we have the sense of sight, the sense of hearing, all the other senses, that we judge all the information that we get, but we're never sure if we're judging it in the right way or in the wrong way, right? Watching someone and don't liking their skin color makes no sense. For me, it makes no sense. Their skin color doesn't take you closer to death. Their skin color doesn't mean any danger to you. It doesn't mean any danger to you. I still don't know any race that is in danger to another race. I still don't know it. We have to reevaluate ourselves. I think that each person should look inside themselves, to look in the way they are operating, the way they are judging things, to understand that judgment is important, yes, but that judgment is something that takes time, that instant judgment is better for life and death situations, for times where you don't have time to think about things. But when it comes to judging on other people's personality, future, or background, that we should really take the time to talk to that person and get to conclusions, right? And when it comes to judging with our senses, we should actually also take the time to analyze if the judgment that we're making is just something that has been given to us by another person, like racism. In most cases, it's because it is a popular belief and not because the person itself believes it. And we should stop being sheep. We should stop being blindly following others. We should start to think by ourselves. And the moment I think that everybody start to think by themselves, and that they fix their inner conversation, and that they also start to analyze better the information that comes through their senses, and separating between life and death situations, or negative and positive outcomes that can come from analyzing the information that comes from these senses, then the world will definitely be a better place. We'll have a lot more peace, a lot more positivity. So, make you the question: should judging be illegal or legal?